The morning began like any other day in the quiet neighborhood. The sun rose slowly, spreading soft light across clean streets and silent houses. Birds moved between trees, and a gentle breeze passed through the yards. Everything felt calm and ordinary. A woman named Maya stood near the front window of her home. She held a cup of tea in her hands and looked outside. Her house was small but warm. She liked it that way. It was a place where she felt safe and peaceful. She had lived there for 3 years, and nothing bad had ever happened. Maya's husband Ryan was not home. He worked for the Navy and traveled often. Sometimes he left without much notice. Maya understood his work was serious, even if he never spoke about it. She respected his silence and trusted him fully. Maya lived a simple life when Ryan was away. She cleaned the house, watered her plants, and spoke kindly with neighbors when she saw them. She did not enjoy trouble and avoided arguments whenever possible. People on the street knew her as quiet and polite. Late in the afternoon, Maya stepped outside to check her mailbox. The street was empty, which felt unusual. Most days, someone would be walking a dog or washing a car. Today, everything felt still. As she turned back toward her house, she noticed a black vehicle slowly entering the street. It stopped near her home. The engine stayed on. Maya paused and watched carefully. 2 men stepped out of the vehicle. They wore dark jackets with large letters printed on them. The letters said HOA Enforcement. They carried clipboards and walked with confidence, as if they owned the place. Maya felt uneasy. She had never seen these men before. She knew the local HOA members by face, and these were not them. The men walked straight toward her yard. One pointed at the grass and shook his head. The other wrote something on his clipboard. Their actions felt forced and strange. One of the men spoke loudly and said her lawn did not meet community standards. He claimed the fence paint color was also wrong. Maya listened quietly and then calmly said she had never received any warning or notice. She asked for their office contact details. The men looked at each other for a moment. Their faces hardened. One of them said fines would be issued immediately. He said payment was required today. He asked for cash. Maya felt her heart beat faster. Something was not right. The HOA never asked for cash, and they always sent written letters. She politely told them she would call the HOA office herself to confirm. The man stepped closer. His tone changed. He said she did not need to call anyone. He said they were the authority here. Maya stepped back toward her door. She kept her voice calm and told them to leave her property. She said her husband handled all official matters. The men laughed. One of them said she was alone and had no one to help her. He tried to step toward the doorway. That was the moment fear touched Maya deeply. But she did not panic. She stood firm in front of the door and repeated that they must leave. Inside her mind, she remembered Ryan's words from long ago. Always trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it usually is. Maya quickly stepped inside and locked the door. Her hands shook, but she stayed focused. She walked to the kitchen and picked up her phone. She did not call neighbors. She did not call the police yet. She called her husband. Ryan answered immediately. Maya spoke softly but clearly. She explained that 2 men were outside pretending to be HOA officers. She said they were acting aggressive. Ryan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he spoke calmly. Lock all doors. Stay inside. Do not open for anyone. I am coming. Maya felt a small sense of relief hearing his voice. She followed his instructions and locked every door. She closed the curtains but left a small gap to watch outside. The 2 men began knocking on the door. Their knocks grew louder. They spoke in raised voices, demanding she come outside. Maya did not respond. She sat quietly, holding her phone. Every second felt heavy. Outside, the men grew frustrated. One paced back and forth. The other made a call. They believed fear would force her to obey. They did not know who Ryan truly was. To them, he was just a husband away at work. Miles away, Ryan was already moving. His face was calm, but his eyes were focused. Years of discipline guided his actions. When danger touched his family, nothing else mattered. Back on the street, neighbors began to notice the strange activity. Curtains moved. A dog barked in the distance. The quiet neighborhood was slowly waking up. Maya stayed strong inside her home. She trusted her husband. She trusted that help was on the way. The men outside had made a serious mistake. They had chosen the wrong house. And they were about to learn that some families are protected in ways they could never understand. The knocking on the door continued, but Maya stayed silent inside the house. She sat on the couch, holding her phone tightly. Her breathing was slow, but her thoughts moved fast. She knew fear could take control if she allowed it, so she focused on staying calm. Outside, the two men grew more impatient. One of them walked toward the window and tried to look inside. Maya stepped back so she would not be seen. Her heart beat faster, but she reminded herself that the doors were locked and help was coming. A few houses down the street, an older man named Tom noticed the black vehicle parked strangely near Maya's home. He had lived in the neighborhood for many years and knew most of the cars that belonged there. This one felt wrong. He stood by his window and watched carefully. The fake enforcers argued quietly with each other. One said they should leave. The other insisted they wait longer. He believed the woman would eventually open the door. He believed fear always won. Inside the house, Maya's phone vibrated. A message from Ryan appeared. He wrote that he was on his way and would arrive soon. He told her to stay hidden and quiet. Maya replied with a short message saying she was safe for now. She placed the phone beside her and listened to every sound outside. Minutes passed slowly. The sun began to lower, and long shadows formed across the street. The calm neighborhood felt tense. The men outside tried a new approach. One of them spoke loudly and said they would report her for refusing inspection. He claimed serious trouble would follow. His voice carried anger and false authority. Maya did not answer. She knew that responding would give them control. Silence was her strength. Across the street, another neighbor named Lena stepped outside to take out her trash. She noticed the men and the loud voices. She paused and watched. Something did not feel right to her either. The fake enforcers noticed her and quickly lowered their voices. They stepped back from the door and pretended to write notes on their clipboards. Their confidence returned when Lena went back inside. They believed no one would challenge them. What they did not know was that several neighbors were now watching quietly from behind their windows. Far away, Ryan moved with purpose. He did not rush blindly. He planned each step carefully. His training taught him to observe before acting. He contacted local authorities and explained the situation calmly. He provided details and requested immediate assistance. Ryan then continued toward home. His focus never left his wife. Every thought was about her safety. Back at the house, Maya heard the sound of footsteps on the porch again. The men returned to the door. One of them knocked harder than before. Maya stood up slowly and moved toward the hallway. She stayed away from the door and kept herself out of sight. She whispered a short prayer and trusted the strength that had carried her this far. The knocking stopped suddenly. She heard voices outside. One of the men sounded nervous. The other sounded annoyed. A police vehicle quietly entered the street. Its presence was calm, not dramatic. The neighbors noticed it immediately. The fake enforcers froze. They did not expect this. Two officers stepped out and approached them. The officers asked simple questions. They asked for identification and proof of authority. The men struggled to answer. Their words did not match. Their confidence faded quickly. Maya watched from inside as the situation changed. Relief washed over her, but she stayed alert. The officers continued questioning. They examined the vehicle and the clipboards. They made calls to confirm details. It became clear that the men were not real HOA workers. Their story fell apart. The neighbors stepped outside slowly. Tom and Lena stood nearby, watching quietly. The men were asked to sit near the vehicle. Their faces showed frustration and worry. The power they believed they had was gone. Moments later, Ryan arrived. He parked his car calmly and stepped out. He did not raise his voice or act aggressively. His presence alone changed the air around him. He walked toward the officers with steady steps. One of the officers recognized him and nodded. They spoke briefly. Ryan then looked toward the house. Maya stood behind the window, tears in her eyes. She felt safe seeing him there. Ryan did not rush inside yet. He waited until the officers finished their work. He respected the process. The fake enforcers were escorted away from the street. Their vehicle was searched and then taken. The neighborhood slowly returned to quiet. Ryan walked to the front door and knocked softly. Maya unlocked the door and stepped into his arms. She felt the strength she trusted so deeply. He held her gently and told her she did well. He said staying calm saved her. The neighbors watched from a distance, feeling relief and respect. What began as a quiet afternoon had turned into a moment of truth. Maya learned that courage does not always shout. Sometimes it stays silent and steady. And the men who believed fear was power learned that real strength lives in preparation, patience, and protection. The street slowly returned to its normal rhythm after the police vehicle left. Neighbors stood outside for a short time, speaking quietly with one another. They shared confused looks and small conversations, trying to understand what had just happened. No one expected such trouble in a place that had always felt safe. Maya and Ryan stood inside their home. The door was closed, and the noise from outside faded away. Maya sat on the couch while Ryan checked every lock and window. He moved carefully, making sure everything was secure. His actions were calm and controlled. Maya watched him and felt comfort in his presence. Her hands still shook slightly, but her breathing was steady. She had been strong, but the weight of the moment was finally settling in. Ryan sat beside her and spoke softly. He told her she handled everything the right way. He said staying inside and not arguing kept her safe. Maya listened and nodded. She did not speak much. She just felt thankful. Later that evening, Ryan stepped outside to speak with a few neighbors. Tom and Lena approached him first. They thanked him for arriving quickly and said they were glad Maya was safe. Ryan thanked them for paying attention and staying alert. The neighbors realized something important that day. They learned that safety did not come from signs or rules alone. It came from people watching out for each other. Inside the house, Maya made tea for herself and Ryan. The familiar routine helped her relax. The house felt warmer again. The fear that once filled the air slowly faded. That night, Maya had trouble sleeping. Every small sound made her alert. Ryan noticed and stayed close. He reminded her that the danger had passed. Still, he understood her fear and did not rush her feelings. The next morning, sunlight filled the house. Maya woke up feeling tired but grateful. She looked out the window and saw children waiting for a school bus and neighbors walking their dogs. Life continued as if nothing had happened. Ryan made breakfast and tried to bring back a sense of normal life. They ate together quietly. No rush. No tension. Later that day, an official notice arrived from the real HOA office. It explained that there had been reports of fake enforcers in nearby areas. The notice warned residents to always confirm identity before opening doors. Maya read the letter carefully. It made her realize how close she had come to serious trouble. She felt proud of herself for trusting her instincts. Ryan contacted the HOA and shared what happened. He provided details to help protect others. He did not want any family to experience the same fear. Over the next few days, Maya slowly returned to her routine. She watered her plants and cleaned the house. She smiled more often, but the memory stayed with her. One afternoon, Maya met Lena outside. They talked about the incident openly for the first time. Lena admitted she felt scared watching it unfold. Maya admitted she felt strong afterward, stronger than she ever believed she could be. Their conversation brought comfort to both of them. Ryan prepared to leave again for duty. His job required travel, and he could not stay forever. The thought worried Maya, but she trusted the systems they had put in place. Before leaving, Ryan installed extra security tools around the house. He showed Maya how everything worked. He made sure she felt confident using them. Maya listened carefully and practiced until she felt ready. She knew that being prepared was not about fear. It was about confidence. The day Ryan left, Maya stood at the door and watched him walk to his car. She felt a mix of worry and strength. She knew she was not helpless. That evening, Maya received a call from Tom. He invited her to a small neighborhood meeting. The residents wanted to discuss safety and awareness. Maya agreed to attend. At the meeting, Maya spoke about her experience. She shared how calm thinking helped her. She reminded everyone to ask questions and trust their instincts. The neighbors listened closely. Her words carried weight because they were real. Maya realized her voice mattered. Her experience could help others. As the meeting ended, Maya walked home feeling lighter. She was no longer just a quiet woman behind a window. She was someone who faced fear and stayed standing. The street lights turned on as night approached. The neighborhood felt safer than before, not because of rules, but because of unity. Maya entered her home and closed the door behind her. She felt peaceful. She knew danger could come again someday. But she also knew she was ready. Days passed after the neighborhood meeting, and life slowly settled into a new rhythm. Maya followed her routine, but something inside her had changed. She no longer felt like someone waiting for safety. She felt like someone who could protect it. Each morning, she checked the doors and windows with confidence. She reviewed the security tools Ryan had shown her. These actions did not make her anxious. They made her calm. The neighborhood also felt different. People greeted each other more often. Neighbors stayed outside longer and talked more. A sense of care spread through the street. One afternoon, Maya heard a knock on her door. The sound made her pause, but she did not feel fear. She walked calmly to the door and checked through the window first. Outside stood a young delivery worker holding a small package. He smiled and stepped back politely. Maya opened the door carefully and accepted the package. She thanked him and closed the door with ease. That small moment felt like a victory. Later that day, Maya sat in her living room and opened the package. Inside was a letter from Ryan. He often wrote when he had time. His words were gentle and supportive. He told her he was proud of her strength and calm thinking. Maya held the letter close and smiled. She realized that strength was not only something Ryan carried. It was something she had discovered within herself. As evening approached, dark clouds gathered in the sky. A storm was coming. Wind moved through the trees, and the air felt heavy. Maya closed her windows and prepared for the rain. She made dinner and turned on soft music. The sound of rain soon filled the house. During the storm, the power suddenly went out. The house went dark, and the music stopped. Maya paused for a moment and took a deep breath. She found a flashlight and moved calmly through the house. She checked every room and made sure everything was safe. The storm continued outside, but she stayed steady. Later that night, Maya heard a noise from outside. It sounded like someone moving near the fence. Her heart beat faster, but she did not panic. She turned on the outdoor lights and looked through the window. It was only a fallen branch hitting the fence because of the wind. She felt relief and allowed herself to relax again. That moment reminded her how far she had come. Fear no longer controlled her actions. The next morning, the storm had passed. The street was wet, and leaves covered the sidewalks. Neighbors stepped outside to clean their yards. Maya joined them. She picked up branches and shared smiles with those around her. Working together made the street feel stronger. Tom walked over and thanked Maya again for speaking at the meeting. He said her words helped many people feel more aware and confident. Maya thanked him and felt proud. Later that day, Maya received a message from Ryan. He told her he would be home soon. The message brought warmth to her heart. That evening, Maya prepared the house. She cleaned and cooked, not because she felt required to, but because she wanted to welcome peace back into her home. Ryan arrived late at night. Maya heard his car and stepped outside. They embraced quietly under the street light. Ryan noticed the change in her immediately. She stood taller. Her voice was steady. Her eyes showed confidence. They sat together inside and talked about everything that happened. Maya shared her thoughts and fears honestly. Ryan listened closely and respected her journey. He told her that true strength was not only found in training or experience. It was found in moments when people choose calm over fear. The next day, Ryan stayed home. They walked through the neighborhood together. People greeted them warmly. Some thanked Ryan. Others thanked Maya. Maya felt respected, not because of who her husband was, but because of who she had become. In the afternoon, a child from the neighborhood fell while riding a bike. Maya rushed to help without hesitation. She comforted the child and called the parents. The parents thanked her deeply. That moment reminded her again that courage shows itself in simple actions. As the sun set, Maya and Ryan sat on their porch. The street was quiet. The air felt peaceful. Maya rested her head on Ryan's shoulder. She felt safe, but more importantly, she felt capable. She knew challenges could appear again. But she also knew she would face them with calm and clarity. The house behind her was no longer just a shelter. It was a place of strength. And the woman sitting on that porch was no longer just someone protected by others. She was someone who could stand strong on her own. Life returned to normal, but it was not the same kind of normal as before. It was stronger. It was wiser. Maya woke up early one morning and stood by the window. The street was quiet. Sunlight touched the houses gently. She watched a neighbor watering plants and another walking a dog. Everything felt peaceful. Ryan was still asleep. His time at home was short, and Maya wanted him to rest. She moved quietly through the house and made breakfast. As she worked, she thought about the past weeks. The fear. The strength. The lessons. She realized how much she had changed. She no longer saw herself as someone waiting to be saved. She saw herself as someone who could stand firm. When Ryan woke up, they ate together and talked about simple things. They laughed. That laughter felt earned. Later that day, Maya decided to take a walk alone. She stepped outside with confidence. She greeted neighbors and smiled easily. No shadows followed her thoughts anymore. At the park, she sat on a bench and watched children play. Their laughter filled the air. She felt calm and present. A woman from another street sat beside her and started a conversation. She mentioned hearing about what happened at Maya's house weeks ago. She said Maya's story had spread and helped others become more careful. Maya listened quietly. She did not feel proud in a loud way. She felt proud in a peaceful way. That evening, Ryan received a call. He had to leave again the next day. Duty always returned. Maya felt a small ache in her chest, but she did not let fear grow. She hugged him and told him she was okay. And she truly meant it. That night, they sat together on the porch. The stars were visible, and the air was cool. Ryan looked at Maya and said something important. He said that strength was not just about facing danger. It was about growing after it passed. Maya understood. The next morning, Ryan left quietly. Maya watched his car disappear down the street. She waved until it was gone. She then turned back toward her house without hesitation. The house welcomed her with warmth. Days passed. Maya lived fully. She joined neighbors for walks. She helped organize small safety groups. She spoke calmly and clearly when sharing advice. One afternoon, the same street felt alive with conversation and trust. The neighborhood had changed because one person chose calm instead of panic. Late one evening, Maya heard a knock at the door. She checked carefully. It was Tom. He stood a safe distance away and smiled. He invited her to lead a small awareness session for new residents. He said people trusted her voice. Maya agreed. The session took place the following weekend. Maya stood in front of a small group and spoke clearly. She talked about listening to instincts, asking questions, and staying calm. She did not speak as a hero. She spoke as a normal person who faced fear and did not let it win. The group thanked her. Some shared their own stories. The connection felt real. That night, Maya returned home and sat alone in her living room. The silence did not scare her. It comforted her. She realized something powerful. Courage does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it grows quietly. Weeks later, Ryan returned home again. He noticed how confident Maya had become. He did not feel worried leaving anymore. He felt proud. They walked together through the neighborhood. People greeted them warmly. Children waved. The street felt alive. Maya knew that the incident that once scared her had also shaped her. It taught her awareness. It taught her strength. It taught her trust in herself. As the sun set, Maya stood at her front door and looked around. She felt grounded. She understood that safety was not about locks alone. It was about mindset. She closed the door gently and smiled. The story that began with fear ended with growth. And Maya moved forward not as someone who survived a moment, but as someone who learned from it and stood stronger because of it.